All right, we're back on. We have to stop the video and replay it and re-record and everything. I can't run straight through one long video because I have such problem. I'm learning all of this technology stuff all by myself. It is. I mean, I have a friend or two that helps me, but it's like I'm very limited in their help. It's like this is how some of them help me. They're like, oh, what's the problem? Oh, you don't have good sound. Go to YouTube and watch a video on sound.
Yeah.
That's like the help that they give me, but but I made it this far. So what were you saying?
Oh, that's right. No, I think I was referring to for a while now, you know, in the political dichotomy of things, that you had a lot of conservative, Republican, right wing, whatever you want to call it, talking points as seen as essentially proxies for white interests, and it wasn't until recently that they're really trying to put a stop to that. It's really no coincidence, I think, that a lot of that Southern, culture and the rebel flag and all this is really being, what's the word, vilified, I guess you could say. And I'm sure some of the grievances they have and some of the criticisms and arguments are probably legitimate, absolutely. But when it's just remove your shit just because, no vote, no whatever, just get rid of the monuments, get rid of the flags, get rid of the this, get rid of the hats,
Right.
stop supporting. At this point, they're bullying and strong arming half the population into just giving up their beliefs, which is standard textbook definition of fascism. They're the true fascists.
Yeah.
And it's getting to a point where they're literally making you pay tooth and nail. For now, it's just a digital gulag, that they're throwing you when you get fired, you get doxxed, you could what have you. This is just 2019 warfare. But rest assured, this is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, for sure. And they're so concerned with tearing down history and rewriting it and tearing. They want to tear down monuments and all this stuff, because of what it represents. But yet they don't want to tear down the entire Democratic Party for what they've done in history. For it was the Democrats responsible for the Jim Crow South, for slavery, for the creation of the KKK, for all that stuff. This was all Democrats. And no aim is towards them at all. They're so focused on race and gender. They also don't want to tear down the legacy of Planned Parenthood when Margaret Sanger openly said that she wanted to eliminate the black race by having abortions and letting the women abort babies.
And still to this day.
And still to this day, they still make up the largest numbers, percentage-wise, of women getting abortions in this country. It's sickening how they've been just hoodwinked completely in every way you can think of into hating us, completely hating us. All of us. They have deep resentment for all of us just for us existing.
And I would agree with you, but the problem with the approach you took, where basically you just stated, oh well, why don't they just have a problem with the Democrat Party, yada yada and so on. Well, I mean they do, even though they probably de facto identify with a lot of the policies of the Democratic Party, because for a while now, Democrats have essentially flip-flopped and betrayed their, I guess you could say, predominant stock. Right? So pretty much they're now against white interests collectively, and pretty much that's why they're bringing in these people as a whole, saying we represent your interests. We're going to take from whitey, we're going to give to you. And so essentially for the time being that might work, but a lot of these people, they really largely don't care. The problem with the Dinesh D'Souza approach about, it's the Democrats that are responsible for it, they're the real racists, is that's really going to get played out quick, if it's not already, because they don't care that you're Democrat, you're Republican, you're white, you have more than me because I was stopped institutionally, and therefore I'm worse off, and you transgressed, and therefore you must die, you must pay. It's time for revenge, chickens coming home to roost, give me your shit, just because. And that's it. They really don't care that you're Republican, you're a Democrat, or they're the real racist or not. They just, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think there's any stopping them at this point. I don't think there's any stopping them, and I think it's only going to get worse as the years go by. They're just going to come up with new terms. I mean, look at all of the words that is thrown around constantly. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I had to deal with words like microaggression and white privilege and white fragility and mansplaining and it goes on and on. Black people can't be racist because racism's all about power and all the nonsense that comes out of the universities to the students, and then from the students online, and then the news media jumps on it and starts using the same language, and it's kind of sickening. It's kind of sickening. It really is. There's no argument from the left. It's like their argument is very childish. It's just every single time I debate with one of them, and you just listen to what they're saying and just take note that everything that comes out of their mouth came from a meme that they seen on Facebook.
More or less.
Everything they say was a meme that was shown on Facebook. Everything.
Yeah.
And it's like that they're so lost. You have half of them are socialists. They don't know why they're a socialist. They don't know what real socialism is.
Yeah, they don't.
They think it's some fair system. They think socialism is just leveling the playing field, right? We're gonna bring.
It's not equality, it's equity.
Yeah. It's all about equality, and it's like no, it's what is fair is not equal, and equal is not fair.
Exactly.
We are not me and you are not equal.
Exactly.
Right? Me
we
and
have
you.
Different capabilities. Right?
We have different capabilities. Exactly. We're equal under the law and under the Constitution.
Exactly.
But we have different capabilities. We're not the same, because if that's the case, then I need to be in the NBA now, because it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair that short people like me can't play in the NBA.
No.
It's not fair that people in my age group can't play in the NBA.
Yeah, why should I collect retirement right now?
Right. Exactly. So, but they don't understand that, and it's like every argument they have, you can easily compare it with another. I don't want to say an extreme level of it, but if it's not fair that one group gets to make a lot of money and the next group gets to make a lot of money, then it's like, well, we can go on and on and on about what's not fair. And you understand what I'm saying? It's just
who gets to decide what's fair.
Who gets to decide exactly what's fair? And it's like when you leave people alone and you let them profit or advance their lives or their career or whatever the case may be based on what they're capable of doing, that is the most fair thing you can do.
Well, yeah, different birds build different nests.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And essentially, I just think that the world would be a better place if we all came together and acknowledged our differences and learned to celebrate them, rather than, do you know what I mean? Like, there's things that all groups, do better than others, right? And it's fine. But the problem is once you start putting a taboo on the truth, and it's just, they're literally leaving us no choice, because, when you're being censored left and right, it's really a recipe for inevitable war, more or less, right? I mean, there's no better way to ensure civil unrest than prevent people from speaking,
right?
Heavily taxing them, banning them from speech, from celebrating their identity, and in a multicultural society, truly everybody should be free to celebrate who they are, except certain groups are being deprived that. And so essentially you're having, and like you said, you're right, there really is no stopping it, because the sheer momentum that has already picked up. Even just to take a look at the Covington Catholic incident, which now we obviously know that we've been known all along. Those that jump to conclusions hopefully should feel stupid and end up with a foot in their mouth, but no, because a lot of people
they're doubling down.
And
they're doubling down. I did a video about the lawyer. There's a lawyer from Vegas, Robert Barnes, and he is going to represent the kids for free, and he is going to sue all of the people that spread false information about the event and about the students and the people who were trying to dox the young man involved.
I'm not trying to dox. They did dox.
They did dox, right?
And like Kathy Griffin with the checks.
He said about 50% of the people apologize and retract their statements, and the other 50%
too
did
late. It was a half-assed apology. Instead of saying, we apologize, what we did to these kids is wrong, they might have said something like, now we have more details emerging.
And then what they do is they the whole story just it ballooned so fast, and then once everyone saw that a retraction is in the future, they just swept the whole story under the rug, and they don't.
A lot of them blatantly deleted the text.
They
just
the deleted it.
Never forgets.
Right.
And
but the problem is the general public does, and the general public quickly forgot that everyone who who spoke about it against the kids was wrong.
Exactly.
They were completely wrong about what happened.
They forgot, yeah.
But they don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't know that because BuzzFeed and Huffington Post and Vox, they're not talking about how they made a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, they ran with the first story. Then once it came out that these kids actually didn't do anything wrong, they
did. He was smirking while white.
Right. You were wearing that hat, which means you're wrong. You have a MAGA hat. You're wrong. That's that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And look at the sheer speed at which these people mobilized.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out and it was just like boom, and it was just like wow. It was almost like it was very unsettling.
Not to mention that you had the Israelites down there who yelled faggot or whatever and no one is there calling them out for their anti-gay speech, for hate speech.
Absolutely.
No one is there saying that what they said is hate
and then you have
speech.
people like Tim Wise saying, well, the Israelites weren't really representing anybody. It's just truth be told.
Tim Wise, yeah, he's another coward, and he won't dare stand up and criticize the Israelites.
Oh no, of course not, because he's made a nice and handsome career.
Right, being a race beta.
Being a race beta.
Being a self-loving white liberal.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But he's not really white. He identifies as Jewish. So in his mind, I'm not like these other white people. I'm in this camp. But whatever. And then truth be told, it's really sickening. It's disheartening. It's awful. It's atrocious. And it's egregious, really, what's happening. And it's just at this point there really is no turning back. So.
No, and it's going to get worse. I fear that they're going to push it to a level that none of us are familiar with or even comfortable with. I mean, we spoke about pedophilia. That's coming. That's right around the corner. It's right around the corner from them fighting for acceptance. It's right around the corner from people demanding that the legal age gets lowered. Not only are they going to fight for the legal age to get lowered, but they're going to fight and say that it should be accepted as moral, good morals to date someone who's that young and to have sex with people that young. It'll be pushed as a moral issue against us, as if we're the immoral ones for saying no, you cannot have sex with a 12-year-old child. You cannot do that. It's not moral.
Yeah, that's really where it is, and that's really what happens as a result of all this media, sentiment of make everything wholesome, traditional, conventional, taboo, and everything basically everything backwards. Just that's what happens when you get browbeaten into submission, more or less. And it's just something about the majority that allows this to take place.
People like that, I have to ask them if they wouldn't mind me dating their 9-year-old daughter. And how would it feel when the shoe was on the other foot? You know what I mean? Is it okay if I date your child then?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You may be surprised now.
You'll be surprised with their answers. Some of them might answer with
for the sake of consistency.
Okay.
They might say, like I'll give you a recent example. Well familiar with the recent murder of Molly Tibbetts, right? So I just wrote down a little, just a little anecdote that actually happened. Maybe this might surprise some of you, but you had the father of the slain girl, Robert Tibbetts, and basically after her murder was uncovered, and of course you had a lot of people, on the right, rightly so, condemning it and saying this guy should never been here in the first place because he was an undocumented alien. It was illegally in the United States. I quote verbatim, the father of Molly Tibbetts goes on to say on public record that the Hispanic community are Iowans. They have the same values as Iowans. He said, as far as I'm concerned, they're Iowans with better food. Now this is cuckery to ungodly levels. So if we're not seeing any type of rage or any type of passion, I guess, from the father of a slain girl. Now imagine he probably represents a lot of people. I would assume. So you'd be surprised at some of the answers you get.
You're right.
Which is why I say that you can't really reason with unreasonable. They would literally sacrifice. No sacrifice is too big for them to put on that platter of multiculturalism.
I'm guessing the father was just trying to keep the peace and say, let's not demonize all people of Hispanic descent because of what this man did. And I get what he's saying. He's right. We all need collectively. We all need to stop demonizing someone. An entire group based on what a smaller group does, whatever.
Absolutely.
But it's just the fact that your child was just killed by an illegal immigrant, and you're pretty much, almost okay